Saxon Musk stared at his phone, hands trembling. The text from an unknown number showed a photo of his 4-year-old brother tied up near railroad tracks. "You have 20 minutes, the message read. "Come alone." In 18 minutes, Saxon's $350,000 Lamborghini would be crushed by a freight train. In 20 minutes, police would find him standing over a mannequin dressed in his brother's clothes. And in 47,000 homes across the world, strangers would watch his terror as entertainment. This is the true story of one night that changed everything. A night of manipulation, courage, and the devastating cost of being Elon Musk's son. Saxon Musk's hands wouldn't stop shaking. He sat in his midnight blue Lamborghini Huracan Evo outside a restaurant on South Lamar Boulevard in Austin, Texas, staring at his phone like it might explode. The screen glowed in the darkness of the parking lot, showing a text message from a number he didn't recognize. "Unknown number. Your brother is at the old Tesla Gigafactory construction site. Come alone. He has 20 minutes. Below the message was a photo. Saxon's stomach dropped. It showed a small figure in a SpaceX hoodie, the same black one with the silver rocket logo that his youngest brother wore constantly. The figure sat on the ground, hands behind their back, near what looked like railroad tracks. Saxon's twin brother, Griffin, was safe at the University of Pennsylvania. He talked to him that morning. But his youngest brother, 4-year-old Techno Mechanicus, the little boy everyone called by his nickname, should be home right now with security guards watching him. Should be, Saxon's fingers fumbled as he tried to call home. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Nobody answered. His heart pounded so hard he could hear it in his ears. He tried his father next, straight to voicemail. "This is Elon, leave a message." "Dad, call me back, it's an emergency, it's about..." Saxon's voice cracked. He hung up. Think clearly. Saxon opened the Tesla app on his phone. His father's private jet showed a small airplane icon over San Francisco. He just landed 20 minutes ago for meetings about the new Neuralink facility. That meant he was 1,500 miles away. Another text appeared. "Unknown number, 18 minutes left. No police, no security, just you. Prove you care about family more than money." Saxon felt like someone had punched him in the chest. He was 18 years old. He'd grown up as Elon Musk's son, which meant growing up with photographers following him to school, strangers asking for selfies at the grocery store, and people online saying terrible things about his family they'd never say to his face. But this was different. This was real danger. His mom. He should call his mom. Saxon pulled up Justine Musk's contact. His mother, a successful author who divorced his father years ago, had always taught him to be careful. "You boys have targets on your backs," she'd warned him and Griffin since they were little. "Not everyone loves the Musk name." His finger hovered over the call button. "Unknown number, tell anyone and he dies. I'm watching." The phone nearly slipped from Saxon's sweaty palm. Someone was watching him right now. He looked around the parking lot. Cars sat silent in their spots. A couple walked toward the restaurant, laughing about something. Everything looked normal, but normal had just shattered. Saxon thought about his little brother. The way he'd followed Saxon around the house last weekend, asking a million questions about everything. "Why is the sky blue? How do rockets work? Can I ride in the Cybertruck?" His small hand gripping Saxon's finger, trusting him completely. Saxon's father had told him something once after a difficult board meeting at Tesla when protesters had surrounded the building. They'd been stuck inside for hours while police cleared the crowd. "Family protects family, Saxon," his dad had said, his usual confident voice quiet and serious. "Money doesn't matter. Fame doesn't matter. When it comes down to it, the only thing that's real is the people you love." 15 minutes left. Saxon started the Lamborghini. The engine roared to life, vibrating through the leather seat. His hands still shook as he gripped the steering wheel. This could be a trap, a prank, some sick joke by people who hated his father's success. But what if it wasn't? What if his little brother was really out there, scared and alone, waiting for someone to save him? Saxon pulled up the GPS. He typed in old Tesla Gigafactory construction site Manor, Texas. A location appeared, an abandoned facility project from 2022 that never got finished. His father had planned to build a second Texas factory there, but supply chain problems and county zoning issues killed the project. Now it just sat empty, 23 miles east of Austin. The GPS showed 28 minutes to drive there normally. Saxon didn't have 28 minutes. He shifted into drive and pressed the accelerator. Lamborghini shot forward, pressing him back into his seat. He'd done racing courses. His father insisted all his kids learn to drive properly, handling powerful cars safely on closed tracks. But Saxon had never driven like this, never with everything on the line. He merged onto Interstate 35, weaving between cars. The speedometer climbed 60, 70, 80, 85. Other drivers honked as he passed them. Saxon didn't care. His phone buzzed against the center console. Unknown number, 12 minutes left. 12 minutes. The GPS still showed 19 minutes away, even driving fast. Saxon took the exit for Highway 130, the toll road that ran east out of Austin. This road was special to his family. His father used to test autopilot features here late at night when traffic was light. Saxon had ridden along once, watching his dad's hands hover over the steering wheel, ready to take control but trusting the computer. Innovation requires risk, Saxon, his father had explained that night. But calculated risk. You run the numbers, test the systems, and then you trust yourself. Was Saxon calculating the risk right now? Or was he rushing toward danger like a fool? His phone rang. Mom. Saxon's heart twisted. He couldn't answer. The text said no one could know. The call went to voicemail. Immediately she called again. Saxon felt tears burning in his eyes. His mother never called twice in a row unless something was wrong. She probably knew he'd left the restaurant suddenly. Security might have alerted her. The speedometer hit 95 mph. Buildings blurred past. Saxon took exit 268 toward Manor, a small town east of Austin where his father's employees sometimes lived because housing was cheaper. The Lamborghini's tires screamed as he took the turn faster than he should. The advanced all-wheel drive system kept the car stable, but Saxon's stomach lurched. His phone rang again. This time he saw his mother's picture flash on the screen. Her face, smiling in the photo from last Christmas. Saxon's hand reached for the phone. He couldn't just ignore her. Not his mom. He answered on Bluetooth. Mom. Saxon, where are you? Her voice was sharp with worry. Security said you ran out of dinner. You left your credit card on the table. What's happening? Saxon's voice caught. He wanted to tell her everything. The text, the photo, the threat. His mother would know what to do. She always knew what to do. But the words from the text burned in his mind. Tell anyone and he dies. Mom, I can't explain right now. Please trust me. I have to do this. Do what? Saxon James Musk. You tell me what's going on right now. She used his full name. She only did that when she was truly scared. I love you, Mom. Saxon's voice broke. I'm sorry. He ended the call. For a moment, Saxon couldn't breathe. He just hung up on his mother. He'd never done that before, never in his entire life. Guilt crashed over him like a wave, but he pushed it down. His little brother mattered more than hurt feelings. Family protected family. The GPS showed the construction site ahead, 2 miles away. Saxon could see the outline of massive concrete foundations in the distance, lit by moonlight. Rusted construction equipment sat abandoned like metal skeletons. And cutting right through the middle of the property, he saw them, railroad tracks, the Union Pacific line that carried freight trains through Texas every day. Saxon slowed down as he approached, his eyes scanning for any sign of movement. The site looked deserted. No cars in sight, no lights except the moon. His phone showed 9:58 p.m., 2 minutes left. Saxon turned onto the gravel access road. Rocks pinged against the Lamborghini's undercarriage. This car wasn't built for rough terrain. It was built for smooth European highways and race tracks. Then Saxon saw something that made his blood freeze. Red and blue lights flashed in his rearview mirror. A Texas state trooper. No. The police car's siren whooped once, signaling Saxon to pull over. Through the mirror, Saxon could see the trooper's silhouette behind the wheel. 1 minute left. Saxon faced an impossible choice. If he stopped, he'd lose precious time. The text said 20 minutes, and those 20 minutes were almost gone. But if he didn't stop, he'd be fleeing from police. That was a felony. That could mean jail. His little brother's face flashed in Saxon's mind, those trusting eyes. Saxon pressed the accelerator. The Lamborghini leaped forward, gravel spraying behind it. The trooper's siren wailed louder, the sound piercing the night. Saxon's entire body felt electric with fear and adrenaline. He'd just run from the police. There was no going back now. Saxon's knuckles turned white as he gripped the steering wheel. The police siren screamed behind him, growing louder as the trooper accelerated. Blue and red lights painted the abandoned construction equipment in flashing colors, making the whole site look like some kind of nightmare carnival. The gravel access road was rough and narrow. Saxon's Lamborghini bounced over ruts and holes that made his teeth rattle. This car cost more than most houses, $350,000 of Italian engineering designed for perfectly smooth asphalt, not Texas dirt roads full of rocks and debris. But none of that mattered now. Saxon's phone lit up with another text. Unknown number, time's up. Last chance. Follow the path to the tracks. A photo appeared below the message. Showed the railroad tracks from a different angle, with an arrow drawn in red pointing to a specific spot where the tracks crossed an old access path. Saxon could see that exact location ahead, maybe 200 yards away. The trooper was gaining ground. Through his mirror, Saxon saw it was a white Dodge Charger with Texas State Police written across the side. The officer inside probably thought Saxon was just another rich kid joyriding, running from consequences like his daddy's money could fix anything. If only it were that simple. Saxon's mind raced through everything he knew about his family's security protocols. His father employed former Secret Service agents. Their house had cameras everywhere. His little brother was never supposed to be alone ever. 3 trained professionals watched him at all times. So how did someone take him, unless they didn't? Unless this was all a lie designed to lure Saxon into a trap. But that photo looked so real. That SpaceX hoodie. Those small sneakers Saxon recognized. The ones with the Velcro straps because his brother couldn't tie laces yet. Saxon made his decision. He had to know. The Lamborghini shot forward, engine roaring. Saxon took a sharp right, following the path shown in the photo. The gravel transitioned to old, cracked concrete, probably a road built when this site was active 2 years ago. Highway 130 ran parallel to the site about half a mile away. Saxon could see semi-trucks rolling past, their headlights cutting through the darkness. Normal people doing normal things. Meanwhile, Saxon was fleeing police in a supercar, chasing a possible kidnapper based on anonymous text messages. His mother's author friends sometimes wrote thriller novels. Saxon had read a few. The main characters always made stupid decisions that made readers yell at the pages. Don't go in alone. Call for help. This is obviously a trap. Saxon was living inside one of those books now. And just like those characters, he couldn't stop himself. The path led toward the railroad tracks. Saxon could see them clearly now, 2 steel rails reflecting moonlight, stretching east and west across the Texas landscape. The Union Pacific Railroad had been running through Texas since 1880. His history teacher had done a whole unit on it. Trains carried everything from automobiles to grain to chemicals. Freight trains could be over a mile long and weigh 12,000 tons. Saxon's phone buzzed. He glanced down. Mom, Saxon, please answer me. I'm scared. Whatever's happening, we can fix it together. Guilt stabbed through Saxon's chest like a knife. His mother had raised him and Griffin mostly alone after the divorce. She'd written 6 books while being a single mom, going to every school play and soccer game, helping with homework at midnight when deadlines got crazy. She was the strongest person Saxon knew, and he'd hung up on her. Saxon wanted to text back to explain, but his hands shook too badly to type and drive. Plus, what would he say? Mom, someone might have kidnapped my little brother, so I'm being chased by police while driving toward abandoned railroad tracks at night. She'd think he was having a breakdown. Maybe he was. The trooper's voice suddenly crackled through a loudspeaker. Driver of the blue Lamborghini, stop your vehicle immediately. This is your final warning. Final warning. That meant the next step would be more police cars, maybe a helicopter, definitely a lot more trouble. Saxon was now a criminal. At 18, he'd be charged as an adult. His father's lawyers would handle it eventually, but the internet would explode. Elon Musk's son flees police would trend on Twitter for weeks. His face would be everywhere. College. He was supposed to start at MIT in the fall, might reject him. But none of that mattered if his little brother was in danger. The concrete path ended. Ahead, Saxon saw the railroad tracks crossing directly through the abandoned site. The text had told him to follow the path to the tracks, and here they were. Saxon slowed down, his heart hammering. He scanned the area, looking for any sign of his brother or whoever sent those texts. Nothing. Just rusted construction equipment, concrete foundations, piles of building materials left to rot, and those railroad tracks cutting through everything. Then Saxon's phone rang. Not a text this time, an actual call from the unknown number. He answered, putting it on speaker. "Hello." Silence, then a voice. It sounded computerized, robotic, like someone using a voice changer app. "You came alone, good." "Where's my brother?" Saxon demanded. "If you hurt him." "Your brother is fine for now, but you need to make a choice, Saxon Musk." The trooper's car screeched to a stop about 50 yards behind Saxon. The officer's door opened. Saxon could see him in the mirror, a middle-aged man in a tan uniform, hand on his service weapon, moving cautiously toward the Lamborghini. "What choice?" Saxon's voice came out as a whisper. "The train comes at 10:15. That's in exactly 16 minutes. You can run now, go home, forget this happened. Or you can prove you're different from your father, prove you care about people more than machines." "I don't understand." "Drive forward, Saxon, onto the tracks. You'll understand." Line went dead. Saxon stared at his phone in disbelief. Drive onto the tracks, that was insane. The Lamborghini sat low to the ground, barely 4 inches of clearance. If he drove onto railroad tracks, he might get stuck. And then what? Wait for a train to hit him. "Driver, exit the vehicle with your hands up." The trooper's voice was firm but not aggressive. He stood behind his open car door, one hand still on his weapon. Saxon looked at the tracks ahead, then at the trooper behind him. Then at his phone, hoping for another message, another clue, something to tell him what was real. His phone buzzed with a new photo. It showed his little brother's face, closer this time. Those familiar brown eyes were wide with fear. And in the background, Saxon's chest tightened. He could see railroad tracks, the same tracks, right here. "I'm sorry," Saxon whispered to no one in particular. He pressed the accelerator. The Lamborghini lurched forward, tires spitting gravel. The trooper shouted something Saxon couldn't hear over the engine noise. The car rolled onto the railroad tracks with a sickening scraping sound, metal dragging on metal. The undercarriage caught on the rails, and Saxon felt the car shudder and drop slightly. He was stuck. The Lamborghini straddled the tracks, wheels spinning uselessly. Saxon tried reverse, nothing. The car was wedged on the rails like a toy dropped on a train set. Panic flooded through Saxon's body. He'd actually done it. He'd driven onto train tracks and gotten stuck, exactly like the voice had told him to. Behind him, the trooper was running toward the car, shouting into his radio. "I need backup at the old Tesla site on County Road 1322. Driver is stuck on the tracks. I repeat, vehicle is stuck on Union Pacific tracks." Saxon threw open his door and jumped out. His legs felt weak, barely holding him up. He ran toward the area where the photo had been taken, desperately looking for his brother. "Hey, stop right there," the trooper's voice boomed across the site. But Saxon couldn't stop. His brother had to be here somewhere. That photo was taken here. He recognized the angle, the background, everything. He ran past a pile of concrete barriers, past an old bulldozer with flat tires. Past. Saxon stopped dead. There, tied to a metal post near the tracks, was a figure in a SpaceX hoodie. "No," Saxon breathed. He sprinted forward. "I'm here, I'm coming." But as Saxon got closer, something felt wrong. The figure wasn't moving, wasn't crying or calling for help, just sitting perfectly still. Saxon reached it and fell to his knees. It wasn't his brother, it was a mannequin. A store dummy dressed in his brother's clothes, positioned to look real in photos. Saxon's hand shook as he touched the hoodie, the actual hoodie his brother wore. Someone had stolen it, dressed a mannequin in it, photographed it, all to trick him. No, no, no. Saxon's voice cracked. Then he heard it, a sound that made his blood turn to ice. Far in the distance, coming from the east, a train horn. Saxon's head snapped toward the tracks. His Lamborghini sat wedged between the rails, perfectly positioned. The train horn blared again, closer now. The trooper reached Saxon, breathing hard from running. He was older than Saxon had thought, maybe 50, with gray hair and tired eyes. His name badge read Webb. "Son, what have you done?" Officer Webb's voice wasn't angry. It sounded sad, disappointed. Saxon pointed at the mannequin with shaking hands. "Someone. They said my brother, I thought." Webb looked at the dummy, then at Saxon's car stuck on the tracks, then toward the sound of the approaching train. Saxon watched the officer's face change as he understood the situation. "How long until the train gets here?" Saxon asked, though he already knew the answer. Webb checked his watch. His jaw clenched. "The 10:15 freight, maybe 90 seconds. They both turned toward Saxon's Lamborghini, sitting helpless on the tracks. $350,000 about to be destroyed. But worse than that. The train horn blasted again, much closer. Saxon could see the headlight now, a single bright point growing larger in the darkness. "We need to move your car." Saxon started running toward the Lamborghini. "No time." Webb grabbed Saxon's arm, yanking him back. "It's too late for the car." "But..." "There's no time," Webb shouted. Then quieter, almost gentle, "Son, that car is gone, let it go." Saxon stared at the Lamborghini. His father had given him that car for his 18th birthday 3 months ago. "Drive carefully," his dad had said. "This isn't just a car, it's responsibility." Some responsibility this turned out to be. The ground began to vibrate. Saxon could feel it through his shoes. The train was close enough that he could hear not just the horn but the rumble of wheels on rails, the massive weight of metal and cargo bearing down. Webb pulled Saxon further from the tracks. They scrambled up a small embankment, watching helplessly as the freight train's headlight grew brighter and brighter. "I'm sorry," Saxon whispered. The train horn screamed one final warning, and then the Union Pacific freight train, engine number 8479, struck Saxon's Lamborghini Huracan Evo at 67 miles per hour. The sound was beyond description, metal screaming against metal, the crack of fiberglass and carbon fiber shattering like glass, the deep, grinding roar of 12,000 tons of unstoppable force meeting an immovable object wedged on tracks. Saxon watched his car explode into pieces. The front end crumpled first, then the entire vehicle lifted into the air like a toy, spinning sideways. Parts flew in every direction: a door, a wheel, chunks of the engine. The midnight blue paint reflected the train's headlight for just a moment before the Lamborghini disappeared under the massive wheels. Sparks erupted like fireworks. The train's brakes screamed, but trains that heavy couldn't stop quickly. It would take over a mile for the engineer to bring it to a complete halt. Saxon stood frozen on the embankment, Officer Webb's hand still gripping his shoulder. He couldn't look away, couldn't breathe. That was his car, his birthday present, his father's trust in him, smashed to pieces and dragged along Texas railroad tracks. "Jesus Christ," Webb muttered beside him. The train kept going, pulling what remained of the Lamborghini underneath it, grinding it into scrap metal. Finally, after what felt like an hour but was probably 30 seconds, the last car of the freight train rolled past. In its wake, scattered across the tracks, lay the remnants of $350,000 worth of Italian engineering. Saxon's legs gave out. He collapsed onto the ground, his whole body shaking. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be happening. But the twisted metal on the tracks proved it was. Officer Webb spoke urgently into his radio. "Dispatch, the train hit the vehicle. No injuries to persons, but we need the railroad supervisor out here immediately. We need to clear the tracks before the next train." The next train? There would be another train. Life just continued like nothing had happened. Saxon's phone buzzed in his pocket. With trembling hands, he pulled it out. "Unknown number, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You really did it, Saxon Musk. You drove onto the tracks for a fake brother. How does it feel to be so stupid?" Rage exploded through Saxon's chest. He wanted to throw the phone, to scream, to find whoever sent that message in. Another text appeared. "Unknown number, but wait, there's more. Look at the mannequin." Saxon turned his head. The dummy was still tied to the post, wearing his brother's hoodie. But now, in the firelight from burning car parts, Saxon saw something he'd missed before. There was another phone zip-tied to the mannequin's hand, and it was ringing. "Stay here," Webb commanded, but Saxon was already running. He reached the mannequin and grabbed the phone. It was an old iPhone, cracked screen, probably a burner device. Saxon swiped to answer the call. "Hello," his voice came out hoarse. That same robotic, computerized voice. "Look at the screen, Saxon." Saxon looked. The phone was on a video call, but instead of showing another person, it showed a chat room, a live stream. And at the top of the screen, Saxon saw a number that made his stomach drop. 47,329 viewers. "What is this?" Saxon whispered. "This is entertainment," the voice replied. "This is what happens when you build an empire on other people's suffering. Your father disrupts industries, destroys competitors, breaks unions, and everyone applauds him. Well, tonight you got disrupted, Saxon Musk. How does it feel?" The chat room scrolled with messages. User 2847. HAHAHAHA rich kid destroyed. User 9923. That's what you get for being born into privilege. User 3421. He actually did it. He drove onto the tracks. User 7756. This is the best thing I've ever seen. Saxon's hand shook so badly he almost dropped the phone. You were streaming this. People were watching. 47,000 people watched you panic, Saxon. Watched you abandon your car. Watched you discover the truth. And every single one of them loved it. You're trending on the dark web right now. Musk Dynasty Downfall is the #3 stream tonight. Officer Webb reached Saxon's side. He saw the phone, saw the chat room, and his face went pale. Give me that. Saxon handed it over, feeling numb. Everything had been a performance. His terror, his desperation, his love for his brother, all of it used as entertainment for thousands of strangers who hated him for his last name. Webb spoke into the phone, his voice steady and professional. This is Texas State Police Officer Marcus Webb, badge number 7624. You are currently under investigation for multiple felonies including extortion, harassment, and destruction of property. I strongly suggest you disconnect this stream immediately. The robotic voice laughed. Or what, officer? You'll trace me. Good luck. This phone will self-wipe in 30 seconds. The stream runs through 7 countries. You'll never find me, but I found Saxon Musk, and I proved that money can't protect you from being human. The call ended. The phone's screen went black, then displayed a skull emoji before the device completely died. Webb looked at Saxon with something like pity in his eyes. Son, we need to get you checked out by paramedics. Then we need to go to the station. Am I under arrest? Saxon asked quietly. Webb hesitated. That depends. You fled from a traffic stop, trespassed on private property, and destroyed a vehicle on active railroad tracks. But he looked at the mannequin, at Saxon's face, at the burning wreckage. I need to understand what happened here first. The full story. Saxon told him everything. The texts, the photo, the threat to his brother, the call, the choice to drive onto the tracks. As he spoke, more police cars arrived, their red and blue lights turning the abandoned site into a strobing nightmare. An ambulance pulled up, a fire truck to deal with the small fires from the wreckage. And in the distance, Saxon heard another sound, a helicopter. That'll be the news, Webb said grimly. Someone must have called it in. Train collision with a Lamborghini. That's going to be everywhere by morning. Saxon felt sick. His father would see this on the news before Saxon could explain. His mother would panic. Griffin would call demanding answers. The whole world would know that Elon Musk's son crashed a Lamborghini into a train, but nobody would know why. Nobody would understand that Saxon had been trying to save someone he loved. A paramedic approached, a young woman with kind eyes and a medical bag. I'm Sarah. I need to check your vitals. You might be in shock. Saxon let her guide him to the ambulance. She wrapped a blanket around his shoulders even though the Texas night was warm. She checked his pulse, his blood pressure, shined a light in his eyes. Physically, you're okay, Sarah said, but you've been through trauma. Do you feel dizzy, nauseous? I feel stupid, Saxon replied. Sarah's expression softened. Whatever happened here, you survived it, that's what matters. But Saxon wasn't sure he had survived. Part of him, the part that trusted people, that believed in helping others, had died on those tracks along with his Lamborghini. Officer Webb was on his phone now, speaking urgently to someone. Saxon caught fragments. Need FBI cybercrimes. Streaming platform. Targeted harassment of a minor. A minor. Saxon was 18, legally an adult in Texas, but he was still in high school, still lived at home, still called his mom when he had nightmares. His phone, his real phone, buzzed with incoming calls and texts. Griffin, his mother, unknown numbers that were probably reporters already. Saxon turned it off completely. The news helicopter circled overhead, spotlight searching the scene. Saxon pulled the blanket tighter around himself. The camera would capture him sitting here in an ambulance, wrapped up like a victim, while his demolished car smoked on the tracks behind him. Tomorrow, the internet would explode with theories and jokes and hot takes. By next week, there would be memes. People would argue about wealth and privilege and whether rich kids deserved sympathy. His face would become a symbol for something. He didn't even know what yet. But none of those people would know the truth. They wouldn't know about the photo of his brother. About the fear that had driven every decision. about the love that made Saxon willing to risk everything. Webb returned, his face grim. "Saxon, I need you to come to the station now. Not under arrest, not yet, but we need to document everything while it's fresh, and," he paused, "your father is on his way. His jet left San Francisco 20 minutes ago. He'll be here in about 3 hours." 3 hours. 3 hours of sitting in a police station, explaining how he destroyed a $350,000 car chasing a phantom kidnapping. "What about my little brother?" Saxon asked suddenly. "Is he really safe? You checked?" Webb nodded. "Dispatch confirmed all your siblings are accounted for. Your youngest brother has been home all evening with 3 security guards. He's watching cartoons. He never left the house." Relief flooded through Saxon, immediately followed by a crushing wave of shame. His brother had been safe the whole time, eating snacks, watching TV, completely unaware that Saxon was destroying his life based on a lie. "We need to go," Webb said gently. "Can you walk to my car?" Saxon stood up on shaky legs. As he moved toward the police cruiser, he looked back one last time at the tracks. His Lamborghini was gone, not just damaged, completely destroyed. He could see twisted metal, shattered glass pieces scattered across 200 yards of railroad track. Railroad workers in safety vests were already beginning the cleanup process, working under portable floodlights. That car had been freedom, possibility, a symbol of his father's success and trust. Now it was trash being swept up by strangers. Saxon climbed into the back of Officer Webb's police car. The seat was hard plastic designed for criminals. There was a metal grate between the front and back seats. No door handles on the inside. As Webb drove away from the scene, Saxon watched through the window. The helicopter, the flashing lights, the train still sitting on the tracks while officials investigated, all of it fading into the distance. His phone, still powered off in his pocket, probably had 100 messages by now. But Saxon didn't want to read them, didn't want to face what came next. Officer Webb glanced at him in the rearview mirror. "For what it's worth, son, I believe you were trying to help someone. That takes guts." "It takes stupidity," Saxon corrected. "Sometimes those are the same thing," Webb replied. They drove in silence toward Manor Police Station, where Saxon's life would officially change forever. Behind them, the abandoned Tesla construction site faded into darkness. But somewhere out there, 47,000 people had watched it all happen. They'd seen Saxon Musk break. They'd seen him fail. They'd seen him learn that being rich didn't protect you from being human. And whoever orchestrated it all, the architect, the mastermind, the person behind that robotic voice, they were still out there, still watching, still planning. Saxon closed his eyes and tried to breathe. The train horn sounded again in the distance, warning the next crossing. Life moved forward. Trains kept running. Time didn't stop just because one 18-year-old boy's world had exploded. But for Saxon Musk, nothing would ever be the same. Manor Police Station was small. Just 8 officers covered the entire town of 13,000 people. The building was plain brick with a Texas flag hanging by the entrance. Saxon had driven past it dozens of times without ever thinking he'd be inside. Officer Webb led him through the front doors at 10:47 p.m. The fluorescent lights were harsh and bright after the darkness outside. A dispatcher sat behind bulletproof glass, looking up with curiosity as they entered. "Interview room 2, Webb said to her, "and call Chief Rodriguez. Tell him we need him here now." The interview room was exactly like Saxon had seen in movies. Bare walls painted industrial beige, a metal table bolted to the floor, 3 plastic chairs, and a camera mounted in the corner with a blinking red light. The room smelled like old coffee and cleaning chemicals. "Sit," Webb said, his tone still gentle despite everything. "Do you want water, something to eat?" Saxon shook his head. His stomach was twisted in knots. Food was the last thing he wanted. Webb sat across from him and pulled out a notebook. "I'm going to ask you some questions. You're not under arrest, but anything you say can be used in the investigation. Do you understand?" "Yes." "Do you want a lawyer present?" Saxon thought about his father's team of attorneys, expensive lawyers in $1,000 suits who could argue their way out of anything, but calling them felt like admitting defeat. "Not yet," Saxon said quietly. Webb nodded and clicked his pen. "Tell me again about the first text. What time did it arrive?" Saxon went through the entire story again, every text message. Every photo, the robotic voice on the phone, the streaming chat room. As he talked, Webb took notes in small, neat handwriting. Halfway through Saxon's story, the door opened. A man in his 50s entered wearing jeans and a Manor Police Department polo shirt, clearly called from home. His name tag read Chief Rodriguez. "This is the Musk kid?" Rodriguez asked Webb. "Yes, sir. Saxon Musk, age 18. He's been cooperating fully." Rodriguez studied Saxon with sharp, dark eyes. "Son, do you have any idea how much trouble you're in?" Saxon met his gaze. "Yes, sir. Fleeing from an officer, reckless driving, criminal trespass, destruction of property, and that's just what I can charge you with right now. If we find out you were involved in this scheme somehow." "I wasn't," Saxon's voice cracked. "I was trying to help my brother." "Your brother who was never in danger," Rodriguez said coldly. "Your brother who was at home the whole time while you led Officer Webb on a chase, destroyed a $300,000 vehicle, and shut down a major freight line for 2 hours." The words hit Saxon like punches. He'd shut down the railroad. He hadn't even thought about that. How many trains were delayed because of him? How much cargo? How many people affected? "I'm sorry," Saxon whispered. "I didn't know, I thought." "You thought wrong," Rodriguez interrupted. "And now we have a media circus outside. The FBI is sending agents from Austin, and your father," he paused, checking his phone, "has apparently mobilized every lawyer in Texas." Saxon closed his eyes. Of course his father had. Elon Musk didn't do anything halfway. If his son was in trouble, he'd bring the full force of his resources to bear. "Chief," Webb said carefully, "there are unusual circumstances here. The kid was targeted. Someone manipulated him using his family as leverage." "That's what he claims," Rodriguez said. "We'll see what the FBI finds when they trace those messages." The door opened again. This time, a woman in her 30s entered wearing an FBI jacket. She had her dark hair pulled back in a ponytail and carried a laptop case. "Special Agent Sarah Chen, FBI Cyber Crimes Division," she showed her badge. "I need to see the victim's phone immediately." Victim? She'd called Saxon a victim, not a suspect. Something in Saxon's chest loosened slightly. Webb handed over Saxon's phone, still powered off. He shut it down about 40 minutes ago. Before that, he received multiple texts and a call from an unknown number. Agent Chen sat down next to Saxon and opened her laptop. "I'm going to need your passcode and permission to access your device for forensic analysis." "Okay," Saxon said. He rattled off his 6-digit code. Chen powered on the phone. Immediately it buzzed with notifications, dozens of missed calls and texts. She ignored them and went straight to the message thread with the unknown number. Her expression darkened as she scrolled through the texts and photos. She took screenshots, exported the data, and began typing rapidly on her laptop. "This is sophisticated," Chen said, mostly to herself. "The messages are routing through Tor nodes, bouncing across multiple countries. Estonia, Singapore, Brazil." She looked up at Saxon. "How long have you been targeted by this person?" "Tonight was the first time," Saxon replied. "I've never gotten messages like this before." "That you know of," Chen corrected. She turned her laptop to show Saxon. "Your phone has spyware installed. It's been there for at least 3 weeks. Someone's been monitoring your location, reading your messages, accessing your photos, everything." Saxon felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. 3 weeks. Someone had been watching him for 3 weeks. "How did they install it?" Webb asked. "Could be a malicious link, a fake app, even physical access to the device," Chen said. "We'll analyze it fully at the lab, but whoever did this knew Saxon's schedule, his family members, his security protocols. This wasn't random. This was planned." Chief Rodriguez leaned against the wall, his expression shifting from anger to concern. "Are we looking at a kidnapping attempt that failed?" "Or a test run," Chen said grimly, "to see how the family responds, to identify security weaknesses." Saxon's mouth went dry. "You think they're going to try again? Going to actually hurt my family?" "I think we need to take this very seriously," Chen replied. She pulled out her phone and made a call. "I need a full security assessment on the Musk residence in Austin. All family members need protective details until we identify the threat." The reality crashed over Saxon like a wave. Because of him, because he'd been tricked, his entire family was now at risk. His little brother might have been safe tonight, but what about tomorrow? Next week? The door burst open. Saxon's mother stood in the doorway, her face pale and eyes red from crying. "Saxon!" Justine Musk rushed forward and pulled her son into a crushing hug. Saxon buried his face in her shoulder and finally let himself cry. All the fear, the shame, the guilt, it poured out of him in shaking sobs while his mother held him tight. "I'm sorry, Mom," he choked out. "I'm so sorry, I thought." "SHH, I know, baby." Justine stroked his hair like she used to when he was little. "You're safe, that's all that matters." "Ma'am, I'm afraid I need to ask you to wait outside," Rodriguez said, though his voice was gentler now. "Absolutely not," Justine said fiercely. "My son is a minor." "He's 18, ma'am, legally an adult." "He's my child and he's clearly been traumatized. I'm staying." Justine's voice had that edge that Saxon recognized, the voice that had negotiated book contracts and stood up to Elon Musk in divorce court. Nobody argued with that voice. Rodriguez glanced at Agent Chen, who nodded. "She can stay." Justine pulled a chair next to Saxon, keeping one arm around his shoulders. "Has he been charged with anything?" "Not yet," Webb said. "We're still investigating." "He was manipulated by criminals who targeted our family," Justine said firmly. "My son is a victim here, not a perpetrator." "That's what we're trying to establish," Chen replied. She turned her laptop toward Justine. "Mrs. Musk, do you recognize this number?" She pointed to one of the texts. Justine squinted at the screen. "Number should I?" "It's your home security company's customer service line. 3 weeks ago, someone called pretending to be you and requested a copy of your security schedule. They cited your account number, your address, information that should be private." Saxon's mother went very still. "Someone impersonated me." "Yes, and they got detailed information about when guards change shifts, which exits have cameras, where the blind spots are." Chen pulled up another file. "They also accessed Saxon's school records, his social media despite privacy settings, and his vehicle's GPS data." "How is that possible?" Justine's voice shook. "Money and skill," Chen said bluntly. "Whoever is behind this has resources and technical expertise. This isn't some teenager in a basement. This is organized." Webb cleared his throat. "Agent Chen, show them the other thing." Chen hesitated, then pulled up a video file. "Saxon, this was being streamed live on a dark web platform tonight. I need you to watch it, but I'm warning you it's disturbing." She pressed play. Saxon saw himself on screen, sitting in his Lamborghini outside the restaurant. The camera angle was from above. Someone had been watching from a nearby building or drone. The video showed Saxon reading the texts, his face twisted with fear and confusion. Then it cut to footage of him speeding down Highway 130. Multiple cameras had tracked him. Someone had set up an entire surveillance operation. The worst part was the chat scrolling beside the video. "User 4392, look at him panic. Rich boy can't handle real problems." User 8843, this is better than any movie. User 2156, hope he crashes. Teach him a lesson. User 9071, make him suffer like his dad makes workers suffer. Saxon watched himself arrive at the construction site, watched himself discover the mannequin. The camera captured the exact moment his face changed from hope to horror. And then the train hit his Lamborghini. The chat exploded with messages, hundreds per second, laughing emojis, celebration, mockery. Chen stopped the video. The interview room was silent. 47,000 people watched this live, Chen said quietly. The stream has been shared and re-uploaded. By tomorrow, it'll probably have 1 million views across various platforms. Saxon felt sick. 1 million people would watch the worst moment of his life, would watch him break down, would laugh at his pain. "Can you take it down?" Justine asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "We're working on it, but..." Chen shook her head. "The internet is forever, Mrs. Musk. Once something goes viral, especially on the dark web, it's almost impossible to erase completely." Saxon stood up abruptly, stumbling toward the corner of the room. He bent over, hands on his knees, trying not to throw up. His mother was beside him instantly. "Breathe, sweetheart, just breathe." "Everyone's going to see it," Saxon gasped. Everyone at school, everyone online, they'll think I'm an idiot, they'll think. They'll think you tried to save your brother, Justine said firmly. That's what they'll think if we tell the story right. Your mother's correct, Chen said. Public perception matters here. The people behind this want you to look foolish, to make your family look weak and entitled. But the truth is, Saxon, you were victimized by sophisticated criminals. That's not weakness, that's being human. Officer Webb spoke up. The kid saved no one but put himself and me in danger, but his intent matters. He thought his brother's life was at stake. That's not criminal, that's heroic, even if misguided. Chief Rodriguez sighed heavily. Agent Chen, what's your recommendation on charges? None, Chen said immediately. Saxon Musk is a victim of extortion, harassment, and cyberstalking. Charging him would be punishing the victim and potentially interfering with our investigation. Rodriguez looked at Webb. Officer. Webb met Saxon's eyes. I chased that boy thinking he was just another rich kid running from consequences. But when we got to the tracks, when he saw that mannequin, Webb paused. I saw genuine terror, genuine love. He wasn't trying to get away with something. He was trying to save someone. In my 28 years on the force, that counts for something. Saxon felt tears streaming down his face again. Thank you, he whispered. But, Webb continued, you destroyed a very expensive car, Saxon, and you put yourself and others at risk. You need to understand that actions have consequences, even when intentions are good. I understand, Saxon said. I'll pay for everything. The railroad cleanup, the investigation costs, whatever it takes. Your father will pay for it, Rodriguez corrected, because that's what always happens with you people. Carlos, Webb said, a warning in his voice. Rodriguez held up his hands. I'm just being honest. The kid makes a mistake and Daddy's money makes it disappear. That's not fair, Justine started. The door opened again, cutting her off, and Elon Musk walked into the interview room. Saxon had seen his father angry before. He'd seen him frustrated during failed rocket launches, irritated during board meetings, even furious when competitors copied Tesla designs. But Saxon had never seen his father look like this. Elon Musk looked terrified. His hair was messy, sticking up like he'd been running his hands through it repeatedly. He wore jeans and a faded SpaceX t-shirt, clearly whatever he'd grabbed fastest when he got the call. His eyes were bloodshot, probably from staring at his phone during the entire flight from San Francisco. Saxon. Elon's voice cracked on the name. Saxon stood up. Dad, Elon crossed the room in 3 strides and pulled Saxon into a hug so tight it hurt. The man who'd built rockets and electric cars and satellite networks, the man who'd revolutionized multiple industries, stood in a police station holding his son like he might disappear. I thought I lost you, Elon whispered against Saxon's hair. When they told me about the train, I thought. His voice broke completely. Saxon had seen his father cry exactly twice in his life. Once when Saxon's baby brother died of SIDS when Saxon was just 2, he barely remembered it. And once during the divorce from Justine when Elon thought the kids weren't watching. This was the 3rd time. I'm okay, Dad, Saxon said, his own voice shaking. I'm okay. Elon pulled back, gripping Saxon's shoulders, examining him like checking for injuries. You're sure? You're not hurt? The paramedics checked you. I'm fine. The car is gone, but I'm fine. I don't care about the car. Elon's voice was fierce. I don't care about any of it. You're alive, that's all that matters. Chief Rodriguez cleared his throat. Mr. Musk, I'm Chief Rodriguez. We need to discuss. I know who you are, Elon interrupted, his business voice sliding back into place like armor. I've already spoken with the Texas Attorney General, the FBI Director, and Union Pacific CEO. My lawyers are preparing civil suits against everyone involved in this attack on my family. And Manor PD will receive a generous donation for Officer Webb's exemplary service tonight. We don't want your money, Rodriguez said coldly. Then you'll get upgraded equipment instead, Elon replied without missing a beat. New patrol vehicles, updated computers, body cameras for every officer, whatever you need. Officer Webb saved my son's life. That deserves recognition. Webb looked uncomfortable. Sir, I was just doing my job. You pulled him away from a train, Elon said, turning to face the officer. His eyes were red but intense. You didn't have to. You could have let the stupid rich kid face consequences, but you didn't. You saved him. Elon's voice dropped. Thank you doesn't cover it, but thank you. Webb nodded, looking down. Your son thought he was saving his brother. That takes courage. Or stupidity, Saxon muttered. Sometimes those are the same thing, Elon said, the exact same words Webb had used earlier. I've built a career on doing things people said were impossible or stupid. The difference is knowing when you're taking a calculated risk versus when you're being manipulated. That's actually what we need to discuss, Agent Chen interjected. She'd been watching the family reunion quietly, but now she stepped forward. Mr. Musk, I'm Special Agent Sarah Chen, FBI Cybercrimes. Your son was targeted by a sophisticated operation tonight. This wasn't random and it wasn't simple. Elon's expression hardened. Show me everything. Chen opened her laptop and walked Elon through it all, the texts, the photos, the spyware, the live stream, the 47,000 viewers. Saxon watched his father's face grow darker with each revelation. 3 weeks, Elon said quietly, staring at the surveillance timeline. They watched him for 3 weeks and I didn't know. Neither did I, Justine said from beside Saxon. Our security is supposed to be the best available. Clearly it isn't, Elon snapped. Then softer. I'm sorry, I'm not angry at you, I'm angry at myself. I thought having guards and cameras was enough. I thought, he stopped, jaw clenched. Agent Chen pulled up another file. Mr. Musk, we believe this is part of a larger pattern. Over the past 6 months, there have been 11 similar incidents targeting children of high-profile tech executives. Mark Zuckerberg's security detail was swatted. Fake emergency calls sent police to his home. Jeff Bezos' nephew had his identity stolen and his credit destroyed. Tim Cook's niece was doxxed, her home address, phone number, and school schedule posted online. Why wasn't I informed? Elon demanded. Because the FBI was trying to find the connection before alerting potential targets, Chen replied. We didn't want to cause panic or tip off the perpetrators, but clearly they've escalated from harassment to active manipulation. Elon looked at Saxon. What did the voice say, the one on the phone? Saxon swallowed hard. He said I was being disrupted, like you disrupt industries. He said this is what happens when you build an empire on other people's suffering. The room went very quiet. That's not true, Justine said firmly. Your father has changed the world. By breaking things, Elon interrupted quietly. That's what the voice said, isn't it? That I break things to build new ones. Saxon nodded. Elon sat down heavily in one of the plastic chairs. For a moment, he looked older than his 53 years. It's true that I've made enemies. Every time Tesla disrupted the auto industry, I made enemies. Every time SpaceX undercut traditional aerospace, I made enemies. Every time I criticized regulations or unions or competitors, I made more enemies. He looked up at Saxon. But I never thought those enemies would come after my children. That's what terrorists do, Rodriguez said. They can't hurt you directly, so they hurt what you love. These aren't terrorists, Chen corrected. At least not in the traditional sense. We're calling them the equalizers. They're a decentralized group, maybe 12 core members across 6 countries, united by resentment toward tech wealth. They see themselves as freedom fighters exposing the corruption of billionaires. By traumatizing teenagers, Justine's voice shook with rage. By making my son think his brother was kidnapped. They justify it as showing the human cost of inequality, Chen said. The live stream had a manifesto attached. It claimed that watching Saxon panic was supposed to be educational, showing that rich kids feel fear just like everyone else. Saxon felt sick again. His terror had been educational content. His love for his brother had been a teaching tool. I want them found, Elon said, his voice cold and hard. I want every resource, every tool, every connection. I have focused on finding these people. We're already on it, Chen assured him. We executed raids on 3 locations 2 hours ago, 7 arrests so far, 5 more suspects identified. That's not enough, Elon said. 12 members, you said. Where are the other 5? Chen hesitated, still searching. The group's leader, they call him the architect, wasn't at any of the raid locations. He appears to have been warned. Someone tipped him off, Webb asked sharply. Possibly. Or he's just extremely cautious. Chen closed her laptop. But we'll find him. The FBI doesn't give up. Neither do I, Elon said. He turned to Saxon. Pack a bag. You're staying with me at the Austin house for now. Full security detail. No school until this is resolved. Dad, I can't miss school. You almost died tonight, Saxon. Elon's voice rose. School doesn't matter. Your grades don't matter. Nothing matters except keeping you alive. Elon, Justine said gently, putting a hand on his arm. He's already been traumatized. Don't scare him more. Elon took a deep breath, visibly trying to calm himself. You're right, I'm sorry. He looked at Saxon again. I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to protect you. Can you understand that? Saxon nodded. I understand, but Dad, this happened because of who you are, because of your enemies. How do I live with that? The question hung in the air. Elon was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, when I started Tesla, people told me I'd fail. When I started SpaceX, people laughed. I've been called crazy, reckless, dangerous. And you know what? Sometimes they were right. Sometimes I did break things. Sometimes I moved too fast and people got hurt, not physically, but economically, emotionally. He stood and walked to the window, looking out at the parking lot where media vans were gathering. I built companies that changed the world, Elon continued. Electric cars that actually work, rockets that land themselves, solar panels on millions of roofs. I'm proud of that work. But tonight I learned that the cost might be higher than I knew. Because the people I disrupted, the industries I destroyed, the competitors I crushed, their anger doesn't just disappear. It focuses. It targets. And tonight it targeted you. Elon turned back to face Saxon. So how do you live with that? You live by understanding that progress always has costs. Innovation always has victims. But you also live by being better than I was. By moving forward with more care, more thought, more consideration for who gets hurt along the way. Saxon felt tears burning his eyes. I don't know if I can do that. After tonight, I don't know if I can do anything. Yes, you can, Justine said firmly. She stood and joined Elon at the window, both parents flanking Saxon. You're 18 years old. You just survived something terrifying. But you survived, Saxon, and you're going to keep surviving. Your mother's right, Elon said. This doesn't break you. This makes you stronger, smarter, more careful, but not afraid, never afraid, because fear is what they want. Fear is how they win. Officer Webb spoke up from his corner. The kids showed bravery tonight, even if it was misguided. Not everyone would rush toward danger to save someone they love. Exactly, Agent Chen added. Saxon, you were victimized, but you're not a victim. There's a difference. Victims are helpless. You're not helpless. You're angry. Channel that anger into something productive. Saxon looked around the interview room at all these people, his parents, the police, the FBI agent, everyone trying to help him make sense of the senseless. What happens now? Saxon asked quietly. Now, Rodriguez said, we file our reports. Agent Chen continues her investigation. Officer Webb gets some sleep. He's been on duty for 16 hours, and you go home with your parents. Am I being charged with anything? Saxon had to ask, even though he was afraid of the answer. Rodriguez exchanged glances with Agent Chen and Webb. Finally, he said, no charges. You were a victim of extortion and manipulation. The district attorney agrees that prosecuting you would be inappropriate given the circumstances. Relief flooded through Saxon so intensely he felt dizzy. Thank you so much. Don't thank me yet, Rodriguez said. This isn't over. The investigation continues. The media will be brutal, and whoever orchestrated this is still out there. But Saxon is free to go, Justine asked. Yes, ma'am, though we may need him to testify if we catch the people responsible. Elon put his arm around Saxon's shoulders. Let's go home, son. As they walked toward the door, Saxon turned back to Officer Webb. Sir, thank you for saving me, and I'm sorry for running. I'm sorry for all of it. Webb gave him a small smile. Apology accepted. Just promise me you'll think before you act next time. I promise. They left the interview room together, Saxon, his mother, and his father. A strange combination since the divorce, but tonight they were united. The police station's front doors opened to reveal chaos. Camera flashes, reporters shouting questions, news vans with satellite dishes. "Mr. Musk, is your son okay? Saxon, why did you run from police? Was this a suicide attempt? Elon, do you blame yourself?" Two large men in suits appeared, Elon's personal security. They formed a protective barrier, guiding the family toward a black SUV with tinted windows. Saxon kept his head down, not looking at the cameras. He could hear the clicks, the shouts, the hunger for a story. Tomorrow his face would be everywhere. The headlines would be brutal. But tonight he was going home. The SUV pulled away from the police station. Saxon sat between his parents in the back seat, feeling small despite being 6 feet tall. Through the window, he watched Manor fade away, the small town where his life had changed forever. His phone buzzed. Saxon pulled it out, expecting another message from Griffin or friends from school. Instead, it was from an unknown number. Saxon's blood ran cold. "Dad." Elon took the phone, read the message, and his face went pale. "What?" Justine demanded. "What does it say?" Elon showed them the screen. "Unknown number, you passed the test, Saxon. I wasn't trying to kill you. I was trying to wake you up. Your generation inherits the consequences of unchecked innovation. The train was always coming, I just showed you the tracks. Tell your father, innovation without ethics is just expensive destruction. He'll understand. We're not done." The architect. Below the message was an attachment, a file labeled Tesla Optimus Backdoor Code, PDF. Elon opened it with shaking hands. His face went from pale to gray. "What is it?" Saxon asked. "Schematics," Elon whispered. "For Optimus, our humanoid robot with code vulnerabilities. If this is accurate, someone could weaponize hundreds of thousands of robots." The SUV seemed to shrink around them. The architect hadn't just targeted Saxon tonight. He'd sent a message to Elon Musk. "I can reach your family. I can reach your technology. I can reach anything." Justine grabbed the phone and forwarded the message to Agent Chen. "The FBI needs to see this immediately." "Already done," Elon said. He was typing rapidly on his own phone. "I'm contacting Tesla's security team. If this code is real, we need to patch it before someone exploits it." Saxon stared out the window as Austin's lights appeared in the distance. He'd thought tonight was about him being manipulated, but it wasn't. He was never the target, he was the message, a demonstration of reach, of capability, of how vulnerable the Musk family really was despite all their money and security and power. "Dad," Saxon said quietly. "What does he mean? Innovation without ethics?" Elon was quiet for so long that Saxon thought he wouldn't answer. Finally, still looking at his phone, still typing, Elon said, "It means I've made mistakes, big ones. I've moved so fast to change the world that I didn't always stop to ask who I was hurting along the way. Workers I've pushed too hard, competitors I've destroyed, technologies I've rushed to market before considering all the consequences." He looked up at Saxon, his eyes red and tired. "It means the architect might have a point." Saxon stared at his father in disbelief. Elon Musk, the man who never admitted mistakes, who charged forward despite criticism, who believed his vision was always right, had just admitted that the person who terrorized Saxon might be correct. "Elon, don't," Justine said sharply. "Don't give that monster credibility." "I'm not giving him credibility for what he did," Elon replied, still staring at the schematics on his phone. "But his message, his criticism, that's been said before by better people. I just didn't listen." SUV pulled through the gates of Elon's Austin estate, a modern glass and steel structure on 40 acres outside the city. Security guards waved them through. Floodlights illuminated the driveway. Everything looked normal, safe, protected. But Saxon didn't feel safe anymore. Inside, the house was quiet. His younger siblings were asleep. Saxon's little brother, the one he'd thought was kidnapped, was upstairs in his bed, completely unaware that his older brother had almost died trying to save him. "You should sleep," Justine said to Saxon. "It's almost 2 in the morning." "I can't sleep," Saxon replied honestly. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the train's headlight growing larger, heard the screech of metal on metal, felt that moment of absolute helplessness. "Then we talk," Elon said. He led them to his home office, a room lined with screens showing Tesla factories, SpaceX launch pads, and various company data streams. He shut everything off except one computer. Agent Chen sent the preliminary report, Elon said, opening his email. The FBI raided 3 locations simultaneously: an apartment in Bucharest, Romania, a basement in Portland, Oregon, and a server farm just outside Austin that was routing the signals. That close, Justine's voice rose. Someone was operating from Austin. 20 miles from here, Elon confirmed. He pulled up photos from the FBI raid. The Austin location was a small industrial building near the airport. Inside, Saxon could see banks of computer equipment, multiple monitors, and, disturbingly, photos of Saxon and his siblings taped to the walls. "They were watching all of us," Saxon whispered. 7 arrests so far, Elon continued. 2 in Romania, 3 in Portland, 2 in Austin. Agent Chen says they're cooperating, giving up information about the group's structure, communication methods, targets. "What about the architect?" Saxon asked. "Did they catch him?" Elon's jaw clenched. "No, he vanished 12 hours before the raids. Someone warned him, or he's smart enough to have contingency plans." "So he's still out there," Saxon said, "still watching us." "Yes." The single word hung heavy in the air. Saxon felt his stomach twist. The nightmare wasn't over. The man who'd orchestrated everything, who terrorized him, who turned his fear into entertainment, he was still free. "What do we do?" Saxon asked. "We adapt," Elon said. "I've already ordered security upgrades for all properties. Biometric locks, facial recognition, AI-monitored surveillance. No one gets near this family without us knowing." "That's not adapting," Justine said quietly. "That's hiding. That's letting him win." "What would you suggest?" Elon's voice had an edge. "Pretend nothing happened. Send Saxon back to school like normal." "I'm suggesting we don't let fear control us," Justine replied. "That's exactly what the architect wants. He wants us paranoid, isolated, constantly looking over our shoulders." "He wants us dead," Elon countered, "or at least broken, and he nearly succeeded tonight." Saxon listened to his parents argue, feeling like he was 10 years old again, back when they fought before the divorce. Different topics, same tension, same feeling of helplessness. "Stop," Saxon said. Both parents turned to look at him. "Just stop. This isn't about you two. This is about me. I'm the one who got manipulated. I'm the one who destroyed the car. I'm the one whose face will be all over the internet tomorrow." "Saxon," Justine started. "No, listen." Saxon stood up, surprised by the steadiness in his own voice. "I can't sleep. I probably won't sleep for days. Every time I close my eyes, I'll see that train coming. But you know what else I see? I see that chat room. 47,000 people watching me suffer, laughing at me, celebrating my fear." He pulled out his phone. Agent Chen had returned it after copying all the data. Saxon opened Twitter. His hands shook slightly as he typed his name into the search bar. The results made him feel sick. At Tech News Daily, breaking: Elon Musk's son crashes Lamborghini into freight train after police chase. Full story developing. At Car Crash Videos: rich kid learns expensive lesson. Video in comments. 47K retweets. At Eat the Rich 2024: this is what happens when you give children supercars. 0 consequences, 0 brains. Musk privilege. At Con's Theory Hub: why was Musk's son really on those tracks? What are they hiding? Thread below. 12K likes. And worse, much worse, there were the videos. Someone had already cut together footage from multiple angles. The police chase, the car stuck on the tracks, the train collision, set to dramatic music, posted with mocking captions. One video had 800,000 views already. "They don't know the truth," Saxon said, showing his phone to his parents. "They think I'm just a stupid rich kid who crashed his dad's car. They don't know about the texts, the threats, the manipulation. They're making me into a joke." Elon reached for the phone, but Saxon pulled it back. "No, I need to see this. I need to know what people are saying." Saxon kept scrolling. Some comments defended him, but most were brutal. "Imagine having everything and still being this dumb. Natural selection almost worked. Daddy's money can't buy common sense. Hope the train is okay, Lao." Saxon felt tears burning his eyes, but he didn't let them fall. "The architect did this. He turned my worst moment into entertainment. But you know what? He also exposed something." What? Justine asked gently. People hate us. Saxon looked at his father. They hate you, Dad, and because they hate you, they hate me. They hate Griffin. They hate our whole family. We could cure cancer and they'd find a reason to criticize us. That's not true, Elon started. It is true, Saxon interrupted. I've lived with it my whole life. Kids at school who wanted to be my friend only because of your name. People who hated me before ever meeting me. Teachers who expected me to be either a genius or a disaster. I've never just been Saxon, I've always been Elon Musk's son. The words poured out, years of frustration Saxon hadn't known he was holding. His father's face remained neutral, but Saxon saw something flicker in his eyes. Pain, maybe, or recognition. You're right, Elon said finally. And I'm sorry, I never wanted my choices to hurt you. But they did, Saxon said. They do. And tonight proved that it's not just social pressure or media attention. People actively want to hurt us, to bring us down, to prove that we're not special. So what do you want to do? Justine asked. How do you want to respond? Saxon thought about it. His mind went to all those comments, all those people who thought they knew him, who thought tonight was about arrogance and privilege and karma. I want to tell the truth, Saxon said. Not through lawyers or press releases or your PR team, Dad. I want to tell it myself. What really happened. Why I drove onto those tracks. What I thought I was saving. Absolutely not, Elon said immediately. The FBI investigation is ongoing. Anything you say publicly could compromise it. Agent Chen can review it first, Saxon countered. But people deserve to know the truth. Right now, the architect is controlling the narrative. He got exactly what he wanted, me looking like an idiot, our family looking careless, and himself looking like some kind of Robin Hood figure exposing the wealthy. He's right, Justine said slowly. The story is already out there. We can't stop it, but we can shape it, give it context. Elon was quiet, his jaw working as he thought. Saxon knew that look, his father calculating risks, running scenarios, weighing outcomes. Fine, Elon said finally, but we do it carefully. Agent Chen reviews everything. My legal team reviews everything, and if they say no, we don't post it. Deal, Saxon agreed. They spent the next 2 hours crafting a statement. Saxon wrote from the heart, explaining the texts, the fear for his brother, the impossible choice he'd faced. Justine helped him refine the language. Elon kept fact-checking details. At 4:37 a.m., Agent Chen sent her approval via email. Statement is factual and won't compromise investigation. However, be prepared for intense public response. Saxon posted it to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook simultaneously. My name is Saxon Musk. Tonight I almost died. Here's what really happened. He explained everything. The anonymous texts threatening his 4-year-old brother, the photos that looked real, the impossible timeline forcing split-second decisions, the discovery of the mannequin, the 47,000 people who watched his terror as entertainment. Saxon ended with, I made mistakes tonight. I should have called 911. I should have trusted professionals instead of acting alone. But I want people to understand I wasn't being reckless for fun. I was terrified that someone I love was in danger. That doesn't make me stupid, it makes me human. To the people who orchestrated this, you wanted to humiliate my family. To prove that money can't protect us from fear. You succeeded, but you also proved something else. That love makes us vulnerable, yes, but it also makes us brave. I'd drive onto those tracks again if I truly believed my brother needed me. That's not privilege, that's family. To everyone else, please think before you share videos of someone's worst moment. Behind every viral disaster is a real person who's hurting. Tonight I learned that lesson the hard way. I hope you can learn it without destroying your life first. Saxon hit post before he could second-guess himself. It's done, he said. They watched in real time as the post spread. Within minutes, hundreds of comments. Within an hour, thousands. The story began shifting, news outlets updating their headlines, people sharing Saxon's statement instead of just the crash videos. At News Nation, updated, Elon Musk's son says he was victim of elaborate extortion plot, FBI investigating. Video. At Empathetic Cindy, I judged him so fast. This is awful. That poor kid thought his baby brother was kidnapped. Saxon Musk. At Tech Ethics Prof. This is what happens when wealth becomes a target. No one deserves this kind of psychological torture, regardless of their bank account. But not everyone was sympathetic. At Equality Now 2024, rich kid plays victim while real people suffer. Cry me a river. Fake news. At Skeptical Sam, convenient excuse. I was manipulated is the new my dog ate my homework for wealthy brats. Saxon read every comment, the good ones and the bad ones. Each word carved into him, some healing, some cutting deeper. At 6:15 a.m. as dawn broke over Austin, Saxon's phone rang. Unknown number. His heart stopped. Not again, please, not again. Don't answer it, Justine said quickly. But Saxon was already swiping to accept. He had to know. Hello. Silence. Then that same robotic voice from before. Well done, Saxon. You told your story. Very touching, very human. Saxon's hands shook. His father immediately started recording on his own phone, capturing the call for the FBI. What do you want? Saxon asked, his voice surprisingly steady. I wanted to congratulate you, the architect said. Most people break after what you went through, but you're fighting back, telling your truth. That's admirable. You terrorized me. I educated you, the architect corrected. Your father builds technology without considering the human cost. Tonight, you experienced being a cost. How did it feel? Saxon looked at his father, at Elon Musk sitting there recording this call, his face a mask of barely controlled rage. It felt like being hunted, Saxon said honestly. Like being a toy for someone's entertainment, like my feelings didn't matter. Exactly, the architect said. Now imagine that's how thousands of your father's factory workers feel, pushed to exhaustion, injured on unsafe production lines, fired for attempting to unionize. Your father treats human beings like expendable resources. I simply showed you what that feels like. By threatening a 4-year-old child, Saxon's voice rose, by making me think my baby brother was going to die. Your brother was never in danger, the architect said calmly. Unlike the children of cobalt miners in Congo who dig materials for Tesla batteries, unlike the families of workers who have died in Tesla factories, they face real danger every day so your father can build his empire. Saxon felt sick, not because the architect was completely wrong, he'd heard those criticisms before, but because he was twisting real issues into justification for psychological torture. You're not a hero, Saxon said. You're just cruel. Perhaps, the architect acknowledged, but cruelty with a purpose is called revolution. Remember that, Saxon. You have a choice now. You can hide behind your father's money, or you can use your voice to demand better, to push for real change. And if I don't, then the train keeps coming. Maybe not for you next time, maybe for Griffin, maybe for your little siblings. The tracks are everywhere, Saxon. I just showed you how to see them. The line went dead. Saxon stared at his phone, hands trembling. The architect's words echoed in his mind. The tracks are everywhere. I just showed you how to see them. Did you get it? Saxon asked his father. Elon nodded, already forwarding the recording to Agent Chen. Every word. The FBI can trace the call, analyze the voice distortion, maybe get a location. He's threatening my other siblings, Saxon said, his voice hollow. Griffin, the little ones, he's not done. Justine pulled Saxon close. We won't let anything happen to them, I promise you. But Saxon had learned tonight that promises couldn't stop determined people. Promises couldn't prevent trains from coming. Promises were just words, and words couldn't save anyone. His phone buzzed. A text from Agent Chen got the recording, tracing now. Stay where you are, additional security en route. Saxon walked to the window. Outside, dawn painted the Texas sky in shades of pink and orange. A beautiful morning. Birds sang in the trees. The world looked peaceful, but Saxon knew better now. Danger didn't always announce itself with sirens and flashing lights. Sometimes it came disguised as a text message. Sometimes it hid behind computer screens and anonymous voices. Sometimes the monster lived in plain sight, watching, waiting, planning. I need to do something, Saxon said suddenly. I can't just sit here waiting for him to attack again. What do you mean? Elon asked warily. Saxon turned from the window. The architect said I have a choice. Hide behind your money or use my voice for change. Well, I choose change, but not his kind of change, not through fear and manipulation. Saxon, you're exhausted, Justine said gently. You've been through trauma. Maybe wait before making big decisions." "No," Saxon's voice was firm. "Waiting is what got us here. Dad, you said it yourself. You moved too fast without considering who got hurt. Well, I'm going to move fast too, but differently. Better." Elon studied his son with an unreadable expression. "What exactly are you proposing?" "I want to start an organization," Saxon said, the idea forming as he spoke. "Something that protects families from online harassment. That helps people targeted by hate campaigns. That pushes for better digital privacy laws and holds platforms accountable." "Saxon, that's a massive undertaking," Elon started. "I know, but I have resources. I have your name whether I want it or not. And after tonight, I have a story that people will listen to." Saxon pulled up his Twitter on his phone. His statement from 2 hours ago already had over 2 million views. "People are paying attention right now. I can use that." Justine looked at Elon. Something passed between them, a silent conversation that only divorced parents who still cared about each other could have. "He gets it from you," Justine said finally. "Unfortunately," Elon replied, but there was pride in his voice. "Saxon, if you're serious about this, we do it right. Legal structure, proper funding, expert advisors. No half measures." "I'm serious," Saxon said, "and I know what I want to call it." "What?" his parents asked simultaneously. "The train project." Saxon saw their confused expressions and explained. "Because sometimes you see the danger coming and sometimes you're already on the tracks, but either way, you need people willing to pull you to safety. Officer Webb pulled me away from the train. I want to be that person for others." Elon was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "That's a good name, a good mission." He stood and put his hand on Saxon's shoulder. "I'll help you, whatever you need." "Me too," Justine added. "My publishing contacts, my platform, it's all yours." Saxon felt tears sting his eyes again, but this time they weren't from fear or shame. "Thank you, both of you." His phone buzzed with another text from Agent Chen. "Need you at FBI Austin Field office at 10 a.m. Major developments." Saxon checked the time, 6:43 a.m. 3 hours to shower, eat, and try to feel human again. "I should try to sleep," Saxon said, though he knew it was futile. "Your room is ready," Elon said. "Same as always." Saxon went upstairs to the guest room that was technically his room at his father's house, though he lived with his mother most of the time. The bed was perfectly made. Fresh towels in the bathroom, everything clean and expensive and impersonal. Saxon lay down fully clothed, staring at the ceiling. His body was exhausted, but his mind raced. The architect's voice, the train's horn, the chat room messages. 47,000 people watching him break. He must have dozed off because suddenly Elon was shaking his shoulder. "Saxon, it's 9:30. We need to leave soon." Saxon sat up, disoriented. His mouth tasted terrible. His clothes were wrinkled. He felt like he'd been hit by a truck or maybe a train. He showered quickly, changed into clean clothes his mother had brought from her house, and forced down some breakfast. His little brother came running into the kitchen, completely oblivious to the night's events. "Saxon, you're here. Can we play with my rockets?" Saxon knelt down and hugged him tight, this little person whose imagined kidnapping had driven Saxon to destruction. "Maybe later, buddy. I have to go somewhere first." "Okay," the boy ran off, already forgetting, already moving on to the next thing. The beautiful simplicity of being 4 years old. The drive to the FBI field office in Austin took 20 minutes. Saxon sat in the back of an armored SUV between his parents, 3 security guards in a follow vehicle. This was his life now, constant protection, constant vigilance. The FBI building was modern glass and concrete on the north side of Austin. Agent Chen met them in the lobby, looking like she hadn't slept either. "Thank you for coming," she said, leading them through security checkpoints. "We have significant developments in the case." They entered a conference room filled with screens showing maps, photos, and data streams. Other FBI agents were present, along with representatives from the Department of Homeland Security and even someone from Interpol. "Saxon, Mr. and Mrs. Musk, let me introduce the task force," Chen said. She went through names and titles that Saxon immediately forgot. His attention was caught by the screen showing photos of the arrested suspects. They looked normal, not monsters, just people. A woman in her 30s who could have been a teacher. A man in his 20s who looked like a college student. Another man, older, with graying hair and tired eyes. These are 7 of the 12 core members of the Equalizers, Chen explained. Over the past 4 hours, they've provided extensive information about the group's structure, methods, and goals. She pulled up an organizational chart on the main screen. At the top, a single box labeled the architect identity unknown. Below him, 12 boxes with names, 7 now highlighted in red to indicate arrest. The group formed 18 months ago on encrypted forums, Chen continued. Their stated mission: expose the human cost of tech billionaires through what they call educational demonstrations. Saxon, you're the 11th target. There have been 10 previous incidents. 11, Saxon said. You mentioned 11 before. The 11th happened 2 days ago, Chen replied grimly. She pulled up a news article. Sam Altman's sister was doxxed. Her home address, work schedule, and children's school locations posted online. She's now in protective custody. Saxon felt sick. This was bigger than him, bigger than his family. The architect was systematically attacking anyone connected to tech wealth. Who is he? Elon demanded. You have 7 people in custody. Someone must know. They don't, Chen said. The architect compartmentalized information. Each member only knew their specific role. They communicated through encrypted channels that self-deleted. They've never seen his face, never heard his real voice. Someone funded this operation, Elon said. Equipment, travel, server costs that requires money. Cryptocurrency, Chen replied. Untraceable payments to anonymous wallets. We're working with blockchain analysts, but it's slow going. What about the phone that called Saxon this morning? Justine asked. You said you were tracing it. Chen's expression darkened. Burner phone purchased with cash in Dallas 3 months ago. The call bounced through cell towers across 4 states using signal hijacking techniques. By the time we tracked it, the phone had been destroyed. We found it in a dumpster near the Houston airport, smashed to pieces and burned. So he's still out there, Saxon said. Still planning, still watching. Yes, Chen admitted, but we have something we didn't have before. She pulled up a new screen showing lines of code. The file the architect sent you, the Tesla Optimus vulnerabilities, your father's security team analyzed it. Elon leaned forward and, It's real, Chen said. The backdoor code is legitimate. Someone with deep access to Tesla's systems created it. Mr. Musk, you have a mole in your company. The room went silent. Saxon watched his father's face cycle through shock, anger, and calculation. That's impossible, Elon said. Our security protocols are very good, Chen interrupted. Which means this isn't some low-level employee. This is someone senior, someone with authorization to access core systems. How many people have that level of access? The Homeland Security representative asked. At Tesla, maybe 30 people worldwide, Elon replied, his voice tight. Senior engineers, security chiefs, executives. We need a list, Chen said. Everyone with access to the Optimus code base, and we need to review their communications, travel records, financial transactions. You think one of my people is the architect? Elon asked. Or working with him, Chen said. The code proves insider knowledge. This isn't external hacking, this is betrayal from within. Saxon watched his father process this information. Elon Musk trusted very few people, but the ones he trusted completely. The idea that one of them might be actively sabotaging him, it was almost worse than the attacks themselves. I'll have the list to you within the hour, Elon said quietly, and I'll start my own investigation. Mr. Musk, we need you to let law enforcement handle this, Chen warned. If you start interrogating employees, you could tip off the architect. Someone used my company to threaten my son, Elon said, his voice cold. I'm not sitting back while you follow procedures. Dad, Saxon said. Everyone turned to look at him. Agent Chen is right. If the architect thinks we're getting close, he might accelerate his plans. Go after Griffin or the others. That stopped Elon. His jaw clenched, but he nodded. Fine, but I want daily updates. Every development, every lead. Agreed, Chen said. She turned to Saxon. There's something else. The live stream from last night, we've tracked some of the viewers. She pulled up a map with red dots scattered across it. Hundreds of them, thousands. Most viewers were random dark web users, Chen explained. But 47 individuals showed unusual patterns. They watched from beginning to end without breaks. They made comments that suggested prior knowledge of the event, and their IP addresses, while masked, show sophisticated routing that were still unraveling. You think some viewers were part of the operation? Saxon asked. Possibly, or they're targets too, people the architect is recruiting or testing. Chen highlighted one cluster of dots around Austin. 16 viewers were local to Texas. 3 were within 50 miles of the construction site. They were physically nearby. Justine's voice rose, watching Saxon while being close enough to what? Intervene if something went wrong. Or ensure nothing went wrong, Chen said darkly. We're investigating each location, but it's another indication of how organized this is. The architect isn't working alone. He has a network. Saxon felt the weight of it all pressing down. This wasn't just one madman with a grudge. This was a coordinated operation with funding, technical expertise, and ideological commitment. What do we do? Saxon asked quietly. How do we stop him? We're closing in, Chen assured him. Every arrest gives us more information. Every phone record, every financial transaction, every digital footprint, it all narrows the search. The architect made a mistake by calling you this morning. Arrogance makes people sloppy. Or he wanted you to trace the call, Elon said. He wanted you to find that smashed phone in Houston. Maybe that's misdirection. Maybe he's not in Houston at all. Chen tilted her head. That's actually a good point. The architect has been careful until now. Why suddenly get reckless? Because he's not done, Saxon said, the realization hitting him. He said the train keeps coming. Last night wasn't the finale, it was the opening act. The room fell silent as everyone processed this. The file he sent, Saxon continued, thinking out loud. The Optimus backdoor code, he didn't have to send that. He could have just disappeared after humiliating me. But he sent proof that he can hurt Tesla, hurt your company's dad. He's escalating. To what end? The Interpol agent asked. Saxon looked at his father. He wants you to choose. Keep building without regard for consequences or change everything to meet his standards. He's trying to control you through fear. Elon met Saxon's eyes. For a moment, father and son simply looked at each other, understanding passing between them. He's not going to control me, Elon said firmly, or my family. We stop him, whatever it takes. Legally, Chen added quickly. Of course, Elon agreed, though his tone suggested he had his own definition of legal. Chen dismissed the meeting with instructions for everyone to continue their specific investigations. As Saxon and his parents left the FBI building, stepping back into the bright Texas morning, Saxon felt different than when he'd entered. The terror was still there. The trauma was real. But underneath it, something else had taken root: purpose. The architect had wanted to break him, to use him as an example of wealthy vulnerability. Instead, he'd created something unexpected. Someone who understood both privilege and victimization, who had resources and motivation to fight back. Saxon pulled out his phone and opened a notes app. He started writing. The Train Project, initial mission statement. We protect people from digital harassment, extortion, and psychological warfare. We advocate for stronger privacy laws. We hold platforms accountable for hosting hateful content. We rescue people already on the tracks because everyone deserves safety, everyone deserves dignity, and nobody should face the train alone. He showed it to his parents. Justine smiled, tears in her eyes. Elon nodded slowly. That's good, Elon said. That's really good. When do we start? Now, Saxon replied. Today, while people are still paying attention to what happened to me. They drove back to the estate, but Saxon's mind was already racing ahead. Website design, legal incorporation, advisory board recruitment, fundraising strategy, social media presence. He'd learned from his father, when you have momentum, you don't slow down, you accelerate. His phone buzzed with a text from Griffin. Dude, are you okay? Mom told me what happened. I'm flying home this weekend. Saxon smiled and typed back, I'm okay, scared but okay, and I'm starting something new. Tell you about it when you get here. Griffin responded immediately, whatever you need, I'm in. That's what twins are for. Saxon felt warmth spread through his chest. Family, that's what this was really about. Protecting the people you love, standing up when someone tries to hurt them. The architect had taught Saxon that lesson through cruelty, but Saxon would teach others through compassion. That evening, Saxon posted his second statement to social media. Today I met with the FBI. I learned that I'm not the only victim of the equalizers. There have been 10 other incidents targeting families like mine. But here's what the people behind this don't understand. Trauma can create change. I'm founding the Train Project, an organization dedicated to protecting people from online harassment, digital extortion, and psychological manipulation. We'll advocate for stronger laws. We'll provide resources for victims. We'll fight back against those who weaponize the internet to hurt others. To the architect, you wanted to teach me about the human cost of innovation. Lesson learned. Now watch what I do with it. To everyone else, if you've been targeted, harassed, or manipulated online, you're not alone. Help is coming. We're building something better, together. He included a link to a hastily built website with a contact form and mission statement. Within an hour, the Train Project's website crashed from too much traffic. Within 2 hours, Saxon had 50 volunteers offering to help. Within 3 hours, 3 cybersecurity firms had offered free services. By that night, the Train Project had raised $100,000 in donations. The momentum was real. The movement had begun. Saxon stood at his bedroom window, watching the sun set over Austin. Somewhere out there, the architect was watching too, planning his next move. Preparing the next train, but Saxon wasn't afraid anymore. Or rather, he was afraid, terrified actually, but he was moving forward anyway, because that's what courage really was. Not the absence of fear, but action despite it. The train was coming, but Saxon Musk was ready. Chapter 8. Forward, not back. But Saxon Musk was ready. 6 months later, Saxon stood at the same railroad crossing where his Lamborghini had been destroyed. The Union Pacific tracks gleamed in the bright June sunshine, looking almost peaceful. It was hard to believe that on this exact spot his life had shattered and then been rebuilt into something completely different. The Texas heat pressed down, 94 degrees according to his phone, but Saxon barely noticed. He was focused on the small crowd gathering around him. 200 people had come to Manor, Texas for the Train Project's first summit. Victims of online harassment, advocates for digital privacy, lawyers specializing in cybercrimes, tech ethicists, and survivors, people who'd faced their own trains and lived to tell about it. A memorial plaque had been installed by Manor County 3 months ago. Saxon ran his fingers over the bronze lettering. Officer MARCUS Web Heroism in Service November 15, 2024. Some trains you see coming. Heroes help you off the tracks. Officer Webb stood beside Saxon in civilian clothes, khaki pants, and a button-down shirt. He'd retired from the police force in February after doctors found stress-related heart damage from years of service. The night with Saxon had been his last major incident. Still feels strange seeing my name on a memorial, Webb said. Usually means you're dead. Saxon smiled slightly. You saved my life. That deserves recognition. You saved your own life by choosing to live afterward, Webb replied. I just pulled you a few feet. You did the hard part, healing, building something positive from trauma. Saxon looked at the crowd. He recognized faces from video calls and email chains. There was Jennifer, a 17-year-old from California whose ex-boyfriend had posted revenge photos online. Marcus from New York, whose identity had been stolen by trolls who destroyed his credit and job prospects. Alicia from Florida, whose family had been swatted 3 times by someone angry about her father's tech company. All of them had faced their own trains. All of them had survived. Saxon's mother stood near the front, smiling at him encouragingly. Justine had been instrumental in the Train Project's rapid growth, using her author platform to raise awareness, connecting Saxon with legal experts, helping craft the narrative that turned him from victim into advocate. His father wasn't there. Elon had wanted to come, but Saxon had asked him not to. This event wasn't about the Musk name or wealth or influence. It was about ordinary people facing extraordinary cruelty and finding strength together. Besides, Elon's presence would have attracted media attention that Saxon didn't want. The Train Project had received enough publicity, sometimes too much. Every week brought interview requests, speaking invitations, partnership proposals. Saxon had learned to say no to most of them. The work mattered more than the fame. Griffin stood off to the side, holding a video camera. Saxon's twin brother had become the Train Project's unofficial documentarian, filming survivor stories and educational content. He deferred his second semester at Penn to help Saxon launch the organization. "MIT can wait," Griffin had said. "This can't." Saxon's younger siblings were at home with security, always with security now. The architect had never made another direct threat, but the FBI investigation remained open. 5 more arrests had been made over the past 6 months, bringing the total to 12. All core members of the Equalizers were now in custody, except one. The architect had vanished completely. No communications, no threats, no activity on any monitored channels. Agent Chen said he'd either gone underground permanently or left the country entirely. But Saxon didn't believe he was gone. People like that didn't just quit. They waited, they planned. They found new ways to hurt people from the shadows. Saxon pushed those thoughts away and stepped forward to address the crowd. Someone had set up a small portable microphone and speaker system. "Thank you for coming," Saxon began, his voice amplified across the construction site. "6 months ago, I stood on these tracks thinking my little brother was going to die. I was wrong about that, but I was right about something else. Love makes you vulnerable." He paused, gathering his thoughts. Public speaking still made him nervous, but he'd gotten better with practice. "The person who orchestrated my attack wanted to prove that wealth can't protect you from fear. He was right. Money didn't save me that night. Officer Webb did. Human compassion did. And afterward, when I was drowning in shame and trauma, it was other survivors who reached out and showed me I wasn't alone." Saxon gestured to the crowd. "Every person here has a story. Every person here has faced cruelty that most people can't imagine. Online harassment isn't just mean comments. It's coordinated psychological warfare designed to destroy lives. It's swatting that gets people killed. It's doxing that puts families in danger. It's revenge porn that ruins reputations. It's identity theft that takes years to recover from." Heads nodded throughout the crowd. These people understood in ways that others couldn't. "But here's what our attackers don't understand," Saxon continued, his voice growing stronger. "Trauma can create change. Pain can become purpose. And survivors are the strongest people I've ever met." Applause rippled through the gathering. Saxon felt emotion rising in his throat but pushed through it. "The Train Project has helped 847 people in the past 6 months. We've provided legal support, security consultations, therapy referrals, and financial assistance. We've worked with legislators in 7 states to strengthen digital privacy laws. We've partnered with social media platforms to improve harassment reporting systems. And we've created a community where survivors can connect, heal, and fight back." More applause, louder this time. Saxon saw tears on several faces, including his mother's. "But we're just getting started," Saxon said. "Today, I'm announcing 3 new initiatives. First, the Train Project is launching a 24/7 crisis hotline staffed by trained counselors who understand cyber harassment. If you're being targeted right now, you'll have someone to call who believes you and knows how to help." A woman in the front row let out a small sob of relief. Saxon recognized her from intake forms. She'd been stalked online for 3 years with no support from local police who didn't understand digital crimes. Second, we're creating a legal defense fund specifically for revenge porn victims. Too many survivors can't afford lawyers to get content removed or prosecute perpetrators. We're changing that. If someone weaponizes intimate images against you, the Train Project will help you fight back. Jennifer, the California teenager, raised her fist in solidarity. Her case had inspired this initiative. She'd spent $15,000 in legal fees her family couldn't afford, money that should have gone to college. "And third," Saxon said, his voice dropping slightly, "we're launching an investigation unit. Working with licensed private investigators and cybersecurity experts, we're going to identify the people behind harassment campaigns. We're going to find them, expose them, and hold them accountable. Anonymity protects cowards. We're removing that protection." The crowd erupted in applause. This was what many survivors wanted most, not just protection but justice. Not just safety but consequences for their attackers. Saxon stepped back from the microphone, feeling drained but satisfied. Officer Webb clapped him on the shoulder. "Good speech, kid. Your father would be proud." "He is proud," Saxon said. "He told me last night, but this isn't about him. It can't be." "I know, that's why it works." The crowd began mingling, sharing stories, exchanging contact information. Saxon moved among them, shaking hands, listening to experiences, offering what comfort he could. Each story was different but familiar: the violation of privacy, the sense of helplessness, the frustration with systems that didn't protect victims. A young man about Saxon's age approached nervously. "I'm David, from Oregon. I just wanted to say, seeing what you did, how you turned your attack into something positive, it made me stop thinking about suicide." Saxon's chest tightened. "I'm glad you're still here, David." "Me too," David said quietly. "For the first time in 2 years, I actually believe things might get better." They talked for 20 minutes. David had been doxxed after reporting cheating in an online gaming tournament. His home address, school schedule, and parents' workplace had been posted on forums. Someone had sent death threats to his house. His family had to move twice. He dropped out of college. "The Train project is helping me rebuild," David said. "New identity, sealed records, security assessment. Things I couldn't afford or figure out on my own." "That's exactly why we exist," Saxon replied. "Nobody should face this alone." As David walked away, Saxon felt the weight of responsibility settle over him. 847 people helped, but how many more were out there suffering in silence? How many would never find the Train project? How many wouldn't survive long enough to get help? His phone buzzed. A text from Agent Chen. "Can you call me? New development." Saxon excused himself and walked away from the crowd toward the railroad tracks. He called Chen on a secure line the FBI had provided. "What's up?" Saxon asked. "We got a hit on one of the architect's cryptocurrency wallets," Chen said, her voice tight with excitement. "After 6 months of silence, someone just moved funds. Small amount, only $500, but it pinged our monitoring system." Saxon's pulse quickened. "Where?" "The transaction routed through a VPN, but our analysts traced the endpoint to Austin." "Austin, he's here." "Or he was when the transaction occurred about 90 minutes ago." Chen paused. "Saxon, there's something else. The transaction was a donation." "A donation to what?" "To the Train project." Saxon felt like he'd been punched. "What?" $500 donated through your website's payment system. The donor name was fake, John Smith, but the cryptocurrency wallet matches one we've been monitoring. The architect donated to your organization." Saxon's mind reeled. Why would he do that? "I don't know, mockery, mind games, or," Chen trailed off. "Or what?" "Or he approves of what you're building. Remember his message about innovation without ethics. Maybe he sees the Train project as the kind of change he wanted to create, just through different methods." Saxon felt sick. "I don't want his approval. I don't want anything from him." "I understand, but it gives us an opportunity. The transaction proves he's monitoring you, watching the Train project's growth. That means he might slip up again, give us another trace point." "So I'm bait." "You're not bait, Saxon. You're living your life and doing good work. But yes, maintaining high visibility might draw him out. Are you comfortable with that?" Saxon looked back at the crowd of survivors networking and supporting each other. He thought about David, about Jennifer, about all the people who needed help. "Do what you need to do," Saxon said finally. "But I'm not changing the Train project's mission just to catch him. This organization helps people. That matters more than revenge." "Agreed," Chen said. "Just be careful and keep your security team close." After hanging up, Saxon stood alone by the tracks for a moment. A freight train rumbled past, not the one that destroyed his car, but another one, part of the endless flow of commerce across America. The horn blared, the wheels thundered, the ground vibrated. Saxon didn't flinch. 6 months ago, that sound would have triggered panic attacks. Now it was just a train, just physics and metal and momentum. He'd survived his train. He'd help others survive theirs. And somewhere out there, the architect was watching, maybe approving, maybe planning, maybe waiting for the right moment to strike again. But Saxon wasn't the same terrified 18-year-old who'd driven onto these tracks. He was stronger now, smarter, surrounded by people who understood struggle and survival. He walked back to the crowd, back to the work, back to the purpose he'd found in the wreckage of that November night. Officer Webb caught his eye and nodded, a simple gesture of respect between two people who'd faced disaster together. Saxon's phone buzzed with another notification. The train project's crisis hotline had just received its first call. A 16-year-old girl from Ohio, whose ex-boyfriend was threatening to share intimate photos unless she paid him $5,000. Saxon immediately forwarded the case to their legal team, their counseling service, and their tech security experts. Within minutes, the girl would have a coordinator assigned, a safety plan developed, and a path forward that didn't involve paying blackmail or facing humiliation alone. This was the work. This was what mattered. Griffin approached with his camera. "That was a great speech. Got it all on video. You ready for the workshop sessions?" "Yeah," Saxon said. "Let's do this." They'd organized afternoon workshops on various topics: legal rights for cyber harassment victims, digital security basics, platform reporting strategies, trauma counseling resources. Experts from around the country had volunteered their time. As Saxon moved toward the workshop area, he passed the mannequin spot, the place where he'd found the dummy dressed in his brother's clothes. Someone had placed flowers there, a small memorial to innocence lost and resilience found. Saxon paused and added his own flower, a single yellow rose his mother had brought. Yellow for friendship, for new beginnings, for hope. He thought about his little brother at home, probably playing with toy rockets, completely unaware of how close Saxon had come to destroying everything. That innocence was worth protecting, worth fighting for. The afternoon passed in a blur of workshops, networking sessions, and survivor testimonies. People shared their darkest moments and their paths to healing. Saxon listened more than he spoke, learning from people whose experiences made his own attack seem almost simple by comparison. As sunset approached, the crowd began dispersing. People hugged goodbye, exchanged phone numbers, made plans to stay connected. The train project had created something unexpected, not just an organization, but a community. Justine approached Saxon as he was helping pack up equipment. "You did good today, sweetheart." "We did good," Saxon corrected. "None of this happens without you." "You're the one who chose to turn trauma into purpose," Justine said. "I just helped with logistics. The courage is all yours." Saxon hugged his mother tightly. "I learned courage from you. You rebuilt your life after the divorce, started a whole new career, raised us mostly alone. If you can do that, I can do this." "We're quite a team," Justine said softly. "All of us. Your father too, even if he drives me crazy sometimes." "He donated anonymously last month," Saxon admitted. $20 million. Made me promise not to tell anyone it was from him. He wants the train project to succeed on its own merits." Justine smiled. "That's actually very thoughtful of him." "Yeah, he's trying, learning, we all are." As they drove back to Austin, Saxon stared out the window at the passing landscape. Texas looked different now than it had 6 months ago. Less threatening, less alien. He'd been born here, but he'd never felt like he truly belonged until after the attack. Suffering had rooted him to this place in ways privilege never could. His phone lit up with a message from an unknown number. Saxon's heart rate spiked, but he forced himself to read it calmly. It wasn't the architect. It was a survivor he'd helped 3 months ago, a woman whose stalker had been arrested thanks to the train project's investigation unit. "Thank you for everything. My stalker got 5 years in prison today. I can finally sleep without fear. You saved my life." Saxon showed the message to his mother. She squeezed his hand. "That's what it's all about," Justine said. "One life at a time, one person helped, one survivor supported." "It's not enough though," Saxon said. "There are millions of people being harassed online right now. We've helped 847. That's a drop in the ocean." "Every ocean is made of drops," Justine replied. "You can't save everyone, Saxon, but you can save someone, and someone saves someone else. That's how change happens." Back at his mother's house, Saxon had moved back in after the attack, finding comfort in familiar surroundings. He went to his room and sat at his desk. The wall above was covered with thank you notes, drawings from child victims, photos from people the train project had helped. His laptop showed the organization's dashboard. Today alone, 15 new cases, 43 crisis hotline calls, $12,000 in donations, 6 media inquiries, 2 speaking requests. The work never stopped. The need never ended. Saxon opened his journal, something his therapist had recommended for processing trauma. He'd been skeptical at first, but writing had become a nightly ritual. June 15, 2025. 6 months since the train. 6 months since everything changed. Today we held our first summit and I felt hopeful. Is that allowed? Can you be traumatized and hopeful at the same time? The architect donated to the train project. Agent Chen says it's psychological warfare. He's playing games with me. Maybe, but what if it's something else? What if even bad people can recognize good work? I'm not naive. He's still dangerous. He could attack again anytime, but I can't live in fear. That's letting him win. David said I stopped him from committing suicide. One person, one life. Mom says that's enough. I hope she's right. Officer Webb told me today that courage isn't being unafraid, it's moving forward despite fear. I think about that a lot. I'm terrified every day. Terrified the architect will hurt my family. Terrified I'll fail the people counting on me. Terrified I'm not strong enough for this. But I keep moving forward anyway. Maybe that's what being a survivor means. The train came, you didn't die, and now you help others off the tracks. Tomorrow, meetings with 3 legislators about digital privacy bills. Interview with CNN about online harassment. Case review for 17 new victims. Crisis hotline training for 10 new volunteers. The work continues. The train keeps coming, but so do the rescuers, and maybe, just maybe, that's enough. Saxon closed his journal and looked at the photo on his desk. It was from that night, Officer Webb pulling him from the tracks, captured by a bystander's phone in the seconds before the train hit. Below it, Saxon had written a quote he'd made up himself. Heroes aren't fearless, they're just present when fear matters most. His phone buzzed one last time, a text from his father. Saw the photos from today's summit. Proud of you, Saxon. You took the worst thing that ever happened to you and built something beautiful from it. That's not just courage, that's wisdom. Love you, son. Saxon smiled and typed back, love you too, Dad, we're all learning together. He turned off his phone, changed into pajamas, and climbed into bed. For the first time in 6 months, he didn't check the locks 3 times, didn't verify the security system twice, didn't lie awake imagining threats. He simply closed his eyes and slept. And when the nightmares came, because they always came, Saxon didn't wake up screaming anymore. He woke up planning, thinking, building. The architect was right about one thing, the train was always coming. But Saxon Musk had learned something the architect never understood. Some trains you survive, and survival isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning. That was the end of Saxon's journey, from terror on the tracks to building something that truly matters. Now I'd love to hear from you. Where are you listening from? Drop your location in the comments below. I always love connecting with viewers from around the world. If this touched you in any way, please hit that like button. It helps more people discover content like this. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We create compelling narratives like this one every week that make you think, feel, and see the world differently. Most importantly, share this video with your friends and family. Spread kindness. Spread awareness. You never know who might need to hear about standing up after being knocked down, or who's facing their own train right now and needs to know they're not alone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward anyway. See you in the next one.